Today we're diving into Rune Dice, a tactical roguelike deck builder from Smart Raven Studios, published by Kwalee. This game blends physics-based dice throwing with deep RPG strategy as you merge dice, summon powerful runes, and build synergies to take down tough bosses. With multiple hero classes, relics, and magical chain reactions, this game promises endless strategic possibilities. Let's see what makes the epic indeed. Caught my attention immediately with its pixel art style, the classic old school look that instantly pulled me in. That said, I went in a little skeptical. I'm not usually a fan of physics-based games, so I first thought was, alright, let's see if it actually works. Rune Dice is about throwing dice, merging effects, and watching the outcomes ripple across the battlefield. The physics system is where things get real messy. Sometimes it feels clever, other times it feels like the dice just ignores momentum entirely. I end up on a perfect merge, only for the dice to skip it and slam it into a mob buff instead. And when that happens, you just sit there thinking, bro, really? It's a system that can absolutely make or break a run. And it's not always because of player skill. Build crafting? Build variety felt limited in the demo. Most of the power comes from mostly the relics. And with only 2 classes available, there wasn't much room for experiment. Basically, it was just 2 classes, and the 2 classes had like, what, 5, 6 dice a piece, and then like relics on top of that, so 5 and 5. What I saw was poison, fire, lightning. According to the board, you don't have access to any of the dice at one time. You have to get them as rewards. And in a roguelike, when you would combine synergies and stuff like that, as far as like for a combination or a build, I didn't really see anything that would further or make those builds even coexist with each other, except for the relic system, which extends it. I think the only way you really make a build is if you use the relic system. Don't think you can really make anything without the relic. I'm not entirely sure. When the physics pops up hard. That dice stack up so absurd that it'll wipe the entire enemy's raids in a single turn. No build required, just chaos. Control, peace, fear. Control was held with fine, responsive, no real issues there. Problem isn't input, it's unpredictability. Given time to think, which is appropriate, but when RNG starts favoring enemies, the planet can feel mean. Some turns feel tactical, chill, others feel like it just rolled out against you. Rune Dice, the difficulty and balance, Dice wants to be tactical and relaxed experience, but feels something slightly off. I'm not sure what it is. Losses usually feel close to fair, but some fights highlight the system's weaknesses when bosses start summoning minions and your dice auto harder target. Losses usually feel close to fair, but boss fights highlight the system's weaknesses when bosses start summoning minions and your dice auto targets enemies you don't want to hit. It gets frustrating real quick. I literally had a boss that basically just summoned more enemies to join the fray, even though I was hitting the enemies, but I thought I'd be able to at least target the boss on my own if he was sitting in front. Because me just hitting enemies in the back most of the time, even if the dice tells you it'll hit back, front, row, stuff like that, right? Sometimes when you roll dice, it doesn't always, I guess it's timing. I don't think it's timing. I'm trying to hit the boss, but why am I clearing ads instead? Yeah, I'm trying to hit the boss. Why am I hitting ads instead? Progress and replayability. Progression is light right now. It's a demo, so that's expected. Absolutely has that. We want more energy right. Not because of skills, but because I wanted to see every other boss or mini boss. Some of these encounters are generally cool and worth pushing. The presentation, this is where Rune Dice really shines. The brick art is excellent, easily my favorite part of the game. Visually everything is readable, but combat can get a little cluttered. Buffs icons are small. I love the clear indicators for when enemy dice gets mixed in with my own. The biggest highlight is that dice physics themselves, when it works, it feels incredible. When it doesn't, it can destroy your run entirely. No build required. One moment it clicks where you realize saving go for artifacts or relics actually matters. That shift alone can stabilize otherwise a doomed run. Suggestions. The biggest improvement I want to see is clarity, especially around enemy buffs that make mixed in with dice. Because sometimes I don't see it. Because sometimes I would hit a dice, and the dice would go in the strange direction. I would hit one dice, thinking I would just hit the dice in the corner. But then, based on the trajectory, it could hit not just that one dice, it could hit two other dice, and then those two separate dice can go on their way and merge into other dice. I've seen it stack up to two times, I think. Yeah, two separate dice at once. Just stack them on top of each other. Which look cool. If it didn't roll into enemy buffs, that is. And honestly, the game would be hilariously in co-op. Yeah, honestly, this game would be hilarious in co-op. Watching a friend ruin your perfect dice throw would be peak Rune. It would be peak Rune Dice. Final verdict would be like, right now the dice sits around a 6 out of 10. For me, mainly due to limited classes and rough edges of physics system. If you enjoy fighting RNG head on, adaptively on the fly, the game feels like it's old school D&D, with dice gone wild. That might be your thing. If I had one word to describe the run, fearsome. Rune Dice takes a familiar roguelike foundation and throws physics straight into the mix. It's unpredictable, occasionally frustrating, but packed with potential. If the devs smooth out clarity and expand build depth, this could turn into something special.